Hi dears, welcome to my channel. Today I am here with class 7, 8th lesson, that is reproduction in plants. What was the 7th lesson? Transportation in animals and plants. Do you remember? There I have asked you 3 questions. Now it's the time to answer these. Okay. First question was, hemoglobin is present in dash cells. Hemoglobin is present in red blood cells or red blood corpuscles also we can see. Main excretory product in human being is dash. Main excretory product of human being is urea. Okay. Arteries and veins are joined by a network of dash. They are joined by a network of capillaries, isn't it? Okay. These questions are over and we have given the answers also. Now the lesson is reproduction in plants. It's a simple lesson. Don't feel that it's so big and so tedious. No, it's very simple lesson. Yeah, because you all know about the plants now. From 3rd standard itself, you are learning about how to draw a plant and what are the parts of the plants and all, right? So based on these, you are going to understand how the reproduction is occurring in plants. Okay, as animals, in the case of animals, the reproduction has to occur. Like that for the plants also reproduction has to occur. For what, ma'am? For the continuation of the particular species of plants, right? So the plants also are having the right for the reproduction. But there is one problem, the plants are not able to move. But still reproduction has to occur, right? So the reproduction can be of 2 types, ma'am. One is asexual reproduction and the other is sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction means the reproduction without involving the formation of zygote or fertilization will not occur, and also within the plant's parts itself the reproduction is occurring. Okay, that is, the parts of the plants are used for generating new plants. This is a sexual reproduction. And the sexual reproduction means we should not feel that there is a male plant, there is a female plant. Such a absurd the thinking should not be there. In the plant there is a sexual part, that is flower. Okay, this is the only sexual part of the plant, and the root, stem and leaf are the way through which asexual reproduction will happen, and through the flower sexual reproduction will happen. Okay, is the idea a little clear for you? Now we are going to see what are the asexual reproductions happening. Okay, ma? As I told you, the part of the plant which are used to generate new plants is called what, ma? Asexual reproduction in the case of plants. Okay. Here only single parent is involved. So from one plant itself the new plants can be grown. Okay, ma? And there is no formation of gametes. The gametes are not involved. That means male reproductive cell or female reproductive cell, all these things need not be thinking about all these, because from one plant another plant can be grown. Okay, ma? It can be by mainly 4 ways. First is vegetative parts. From the vegetative parts it is called vegetative propagation. And the second is fragmentation. Third is budding. And the 4th is spore formation. Okay, these are the 4 parts. What are they, ma? Vegetative propagation, fragmentation, budding and spore formation. Okay, what is this vegetative propagation? There are some vegetative parts. What are the vegetative parts of the plant? Root, stem, leaves are the main vegetative parts of the plant. In many plants, with the roots, new plants can be grown. For some plants, because by the stem, the new plants will be grown. And for some other plants, from the leaf, new plants can be grown. Okay, we can't say for all the plants, any of these vegetative part will grow. We can't say. For many plants, there will be difference. Okay, ma? In the case of carrot, a radish, then to say sweet potatoes and all, the roots store food, right? When we are taking the part of a root which is having a bud also, and we are planting, after some days from these parts the new plant will be grown. Okay, this is the vegetative propagation through roots. Okay, in the same way there are vegetative propagation through stem. In the case of banana, in the case of bamboo, for ginger, rhizomes are there. I have already learned, right? Rhizomes of the ginger, right? For turmeric also. These are modified stem. We can see some buds protruding out from these this modified stem. If we are pricking the root along with this bud, and when we are planting it, after some days, this new plant will be grown. This is the way through the stem. Okay. There are some leaves, to say bryophyllum, begonia and all. When the leaves are matured, when the leaves have been spread, from the margin of the leaves, some buds will be protruding out. And when the leaves are falling down, from these margins, the buds will be grown into a new plant. Okay, these are the vegetative propagation happening for these kinds of plants. There are many artificial ways, Kanna. In the case of rose and all, have you seen the stem cutting in the rose? In hibiscus also, stem will be cut. Cutting is the best way. The stem, when it is grown to a particular level, the base of the stem will be cut, or the part where the node is present, just below that the stem will be cut out. And when we are planting, after some days, from these nodes, new plant will be coming. Okay, and there will be much more good method, that is layering. In the case of jasmine and all, this layering is effective. That is, the shoot is allowed to grow. When it is allowed to grow, it is allowed to be touched with the soil, and the part which is touching to the soil is buried, or the soil is kept above it. After some days, we can see the part which is buried in the soil. From that, the roots will be coming out. So we can cut it and we can keep it in some other place where we want. Okay, this is what layering. For jasmine and all, it is very effective. There is one more type, that is grafting. To get a particular plant with a particular desired quality, this grafting is very essential. To say, for the normal plant, when we want some desired quality, that particular stem of the plant will be cut and it is grafted along with this normal plant, and we are wrapping it. After clipping, or to say wrapping, after some days, what will happen? The new plant will be coming, and this new plant will be having the desired quality of both the plants. Okay, this is the good method for the gardening and all. Those who prefer all this gardening and all, it is the best method. Okay, have you seen it? This grafting can be seen in the case of rose, and for variety flowers, flowering plants, this grafting is much more effective and can be seen more. Okay, about this vegetative propagation, things are over. Then the next is fragmentation. What is this fragmentation? What is fragmenting? Dividing into many, right? It is seen for the algae and all, which are living in water. Okay, what will happen when the water is calm? The algae can be sustained for a longer time. But when the water is wavy, what will happen? The algae also get fragmented, right? From the fragments, the fragment can be gone along with the water waves and will be deposited in some other place. From that part, the new plant will be coming. Okay, this is effective to say Spirogyra or many other algae. This fragmentation is highly effective. And the third is spore formation. What is the spore formation? Have you seen the bread? Yes, you all like the bread, right? For eating crunchy. No, it is not crunchy, it is so soggy, but you can eat it as a tea snacks. While toasting, it will be crunchy and all. If you are allowing the bread to be kept for 5 or 6 days in open, what will happen? Have you seen small green color something coming in the sides of the bread? Have you all seen? Okay, it is what, ma? It is a kind of fungi coming. From where it is coming? Is there any idea? This is by spore formation. I will tell you what is happening over here. The bread, okay, ma? When it is kept over a long time, it will be a little moist. Okay, so some fungi will come. And what is that? It will be just like green. When you are looking deeper into it, you can say there is a stem coming up and there is a bulb over it. Okay, it is called sporangia. What is it called? Sporangia. Inside it, small, tiny particles will be, to say unicellular organisms will be there. It is called spores. Okay. When the spores are matured, the sporangia is the hard covering to protect these spores. When the spores are matured, what happens? The sporangia breaks and the spores will be allowed to go freely. So in the air, the spores will be flowing. Wherever the spores are now also, is the spores are there, we don't know. It will be so microscopic and it will be flowing. And when it reaches a place which is much more moisty, from these spores the new plant or new organism will come, new fungi will come. Okay. In the case of fungi also, and in the case of some ferns, in the case of plants we can say, for ferns there will be something below the leaf. It is the spores. When the spores also get matured, in the case of plants, what will happen? The spores will be detached from that and it will be moving along with the wind. And when it is kept placed, it will be falling in some places. If it is cool and it is proper condition for it to grow, it will grow. Okay. By this way, the sexual reproduction also will be happening. Okay. That is spore formation. And the fourth one is budding. What is this budding? Have you ever seen yeast? Yeah, yeast is available in the market, right? So the yeast for making batter and all, for getting it much more fluffy, isn't it? The yeast will be added. What they are doing actually? If you are having yeast, what is, we have to put yeast and some water has to be added and some sugar has to be added and we have to make it, mix it much more, and after 2 or 3 hours, if you are seeing, the yeast will be growing much more rapidly. If you are having a microscope and if you are testing, one yeast has become 7. The 7 yeast has become 25. Like that it will be much more increasing. Why and how is it increasing? It is via budding. That is, from a small yeast, a small protruding, something will be coming out. What is that? It is the bud. When it is growing much more, when it is maturing, it will be detached. So one yeast has become 2. From these 2 yeast, budding will be coming again and again. So within minutes, much more will be coming. This is called what, ma? Budding. This will be seen for multicellular as well as unicellular organisms, or to say plants also, which are in lower level. But for the higher level plants, this is not the way. The reproduction will be happening by sexual method. It is called sexual reproduction. What and how it is happening, we are discussing. As I told you, sexual reproduction means it's a fusion of male gamete as well as female gamete. Where is it happening? In the plant. It doesn't mean that there is a male plant, there is a female plant. Only the reproductive organ. What is that? It is the flower. Flower will be having the male reproductive part as well as female reproductive part. Okay, then fusion and fertilization will occur. So we should know in detail about the flower. Then only we will be able to understand how the reproduction is happening. Okay, ma? So what is it? I am having a flower with me. Okay, having seen. Okay, this is a beautiful hibiscus, right? So in the hibiscus, what are things? You all have seen hibiscus. No need for me to explain much more. See, this is the green part. The base of it is called receptacle and there is a green part over it, isn't it? It is called the sepal. What is it called? It is called the sepal and it is the green in color. So, for what purpose the sepal is there? Anyone can say? When it is the flower was in the bud stage, this sepal is the one which protects the bud, right? When it has blossomed in the form of flower, it will be in the base. Okay, so this is called sepal, or there is a one more word for it, that is called calyx. What is it, ma? Calyx. Everyone should know these words. It's very important. Sepal or calyx. It is the green part of the flower. Then the beautiful attractive part. What is this? It is called petal. What is it, ma? This is the big part and it is more attractive one. It is called petal. Okay. This petal is also having one another name, that is called corolla. What is it, ma'am? It's called the corolla. What is the function of this corolla or petal? It helps for attracting insects towards it. isn't it? Because of the beauty of the flower lies in this petal, right? So it is attracting us also. So not only for us, for many other organisms, flies, birds and all, for getting nectar, and for before this attraction, their insects will come and sit on it. Okay, this is the petal. Then there is a long part. Have you seen this long part? It is having male reproductive part as well as female reproductive part. See, it will be very easy for you to understand. See, Kanna, I am having a diagram with me. Here I have told this is the receptacle, and then this green part is called sepal, or we are saying it as calyx. Then the flowery part, the much more bigger part is called petal or corolla. Then there is a long tube-like part, and there will be structure in the sides. These small parts or these small structures are called what, ma? This is called the stamen. Stamen is having the male reproductive cell in it. Stamen contain two things, ma. First is filament and the other is anther. This anther contain pollen grains. What is the specialty of the pollen grains? Pollen grains contain male reproductive cell. Understood? Stamen which contain anther and filament. Filament is the one which hold the anther, and the anther contain yellow spots. It is called pollen grains, and the pollen grains contains what, ma? Male reproductive part of male gamete. We are saying. Okay, ma? The male gamete is over. This male gamete or stamen, the male gamete containing stamen is having another name. It is called androecium. Androecium is another name of stamen. Okay, ma? Now we are moving for the female reproductive part. It is called pistil. What we are saying it as? Pistil, or another name of it is gynoecium. It's called, ma? Gynoecium. This pistil contains three parts. The topmost part is called stigma. What is it called? Stigma. Why is it called stigma? It helps for sticking something. Like that you have to learn. Okay. It helps for sticking something. Okay. What is sticking over it? We will discuss later on. Stigma. Then a long tube is there. It is in a stylish form and it is called style. Okay. Stigma, style, and the base is having, it is having a round something. It is called ovary. What is it called? It is called ovary. Ovary contains small grains called ovule, and the ovule contain our female gamete. Did you get, ma? Pollen grains contain male gamete and the ovule contain female gamete. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, ma? So the pistil is called gynoecium, stamen is called androecium, and the petal is called corolla, and sepal is called calyx. Is the thing clear for you? How many holes are there for the flowers? 4 holes are there for the flower. 4 things are mainly present in the flower. Will all the flower having all these 4 holes? No, we can't say. There will be flowers. Some flowers may contain both male as well as female reproductive cell. That's why we are taking hibiscus always, because hibiscus is the perfect one. It is having both male reproductive cell as well as female reproductive cell. Such a flower is called what, ma? Bisexual flower. The flowers having both male reproductive part as well as female reproductive part are called what, ma? Bisexual. Both the things are there. Bi means 2. Both the things are there, male as well as female. So we are saying it as bisexual flower. Not only for hibiscus, for rose, for pea flower, all these will be having all these are bisexual flowers. And there are some flowers will be having male and some flowers will be having female reproductive parts. These flowers are called unisexual flowers. Okay. In same plant, some flowers will be having male reproductive part and some flowers will be having female reproductive part. 4 holes will not be present in these flowers. So for example, for flower of cucumber and the flower of watermelon and all, they will be having unisexual flowers. Then they will be unisexual flowers. These flowers will be, means some will be having male reproductive part while other will be having female reproductive part. So what has to happen? this fertilization has to happen. How it is happening, we are discussing. Now we understood the parts of the flower. Now we should know an important part. The first part of sexual reproduction in plant is pollination. What is the first part of sexual reproduction in plant? It is pollination. What is this pollination? Pollination is a transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of the flower. Okay? The pollen grains has to be transferred from the anther of the flower to the stigma of the flower. Okay? This is pollination. Okay? Pollination can be of two types. It is self-pollination as well as cross-pollination. As I told you in the case of hibiscus, the stamen is present and stigma is also present near to near. Okay? So, from the stamen of this flower to the stigma of the same flower, the pollen grains can transfer. Okay? So, this is called self-pollination. Or it can be happened with different flowers of the same plant. Okay, this is called what? Self-pollination. If much more flowers are there in a plant, from one flower to another flower of the same plant, if this pollination is happening, this is called also self-pollination. Okay, so what is cross-pollination? Cross-pollination is the transfer of the pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of two different flowers of same species. It need not be of same plant. It can be of different plants, but the species should be same. So, can I ask you one question? Is it possible for having the pollination from hibiscus to rose? No, because the flowers are of different species. It is not possible. For the same species, flowers are there, different flowers are there, the pollination will be happening. This is called what, ma? It is called cross-pollination. Is it clear for you? Okay. Now, how the pollination is occurring? Is a plant able to move? No. Have you seen different types of children? There may be children who are working hard for their sustaining. And there may be many other children who may be sitting in a place and someone will work for them. Have you experienced? There may be some other children who will be sitting in a place and there will be many other people for working for them. In the case of plants, this is happening. The flower is the one who is attracting everyone. It needs the pollination to happen. It is not able to move. The plant is not able to move. So some agents will come and do this work. They are called what, ma? Pollinating agents. Okay? What are these agents? We will see. Wind. Wind is a pollinating agent. Through the wind, the pollen grains will be transferred from one flower to the another flower. Okay. So, this is also called anemophily. Anemophily. This kind of pollination is happening in plants like rice or paddy, maize, wheat, where they will be growing as a group and the flowers will be so small and the pollen grains will be so small, smooth and dry. They will be able to be carried away by the wind. It will be stick in some other flowers stigma and this pollination will happen. Did you get, ma? So by wind. Wind is the first agent and the second is by water. For the aquatic plants like hydrilla, vallisneria and all, the water is the one which is carrying this pollen grains. Okay, and will be able to be stick on the stigma of other flower. Okay, and third one is insect. Okay, insects are some other agents. Why insects? How can it be attracted? Insects, for attracting the insects, the flower's petal is so wonderful and beautiful, isn't it? For rose, jasmine and hibiscus and all, the flower itself is so attractive. So the insects will be attracted and the flower will be giving some scent smell. Okay, some smell will be coming and not only that, nectar will be there inside. For drinking this nectar, our poor insects will be coming and sitting over it. So what's happened? The insects will be having their brushy legs or their wings will be there, and in these things this pollen grain will be stick. And when this insect is sitting in some other flower, in the stigma this pollen grain will be transferred. By that way, pollination will be happening. For example, in the case of rose, hibiscus, jasmine and all, by this way only the pollination is happening. Okay. Then some other things, that is birds. Birds, this insect, the pollination is happening by insects are called entomophily. As I told you, if water is agent, it is called hydrophily. When wind is agent, it is called anemophily. And when insect is there, it is called entomophily. Okay. These words you have to understand. Okay. Now pollination by birds. For the birds also, the flowers petal will be attractive and the birds will come and sit over it, and the nectar will be much more. Because if it is much more less in amount, the birds there is of no use, right? So the nectar will be much more and it will be red or orange in color. So the birds will come and sit over it, and the same way on the beaks of the bird or in the wings of the birds, this pollen grain will be attached. And when he is or she is sitting in some other flowers, what will happen? This pollen grains will be transferred to the stigma. By the way, also pollination can be occurred. So by birds, if the birds are the agent, it is called ornitophily. And ornitophily. And by animals, for saying nocturnal animals. Nocturnal animals are the animals which will be more active during night time. Okay, they are to say bat. Okay, by them also pollination can be happening. If the pollinating agent is animal, it is called zoophily. Okay, these are phyllies you have to understand. And by this way, these are the pollinating agents. By this way, the pollination is happening. And the first step of sexual reproduction in flower or in plant is happened. Okay, this pollination has been happened and the pollen grains has been transferred from anther to stigma. What is the next step? Pollen grains contain what? It contain male reproductive cell. I have told you, right? So this male reproductive cell has to be transferred from where to where? From the stigma to the ovule. It has to reach to ovule. See, Gana, I have told you what is the stigma. It is a sticky part. What is it? It will attract or it will grab the male reproductive cell towards itself. So it will be coming through this tube. This tube is called pollen tube. What is it called, ma'am? Pollen tube, and it will get inside and it will reach the ovary. Ovary contain ovule and the ovule contain female gamete. So the male gamete will be reached up to the female gamete. The fusion will occur. Fusion means both of them will join to form single one. Two cells will become single cell. It is called zygote. What we are saying it as? Zygote. The zygote will be developed to form embryo. What is the zygote developed, ma? It will become embryo later on. Okay. So this embryo has been developed. What is the next stage? Will the flower remains for years? No. Some flowers will remain for some 1 day. Some flowers for 5 or 6 days, and after that the flower will be finished. Means what? This pollination had occurred and the petal will dry out and it will go out, and the sepal also will dry. But there will be something. The embryo has been developed. Where the embryo has been developed? Embryo has been developed inside the ovule. So the ovule will become the seed. What will the ovule become? It becomes the seed, and the ovary become the fruit. The ovary, as I told you, it is so small, right? But it will swell to become the fruit, and inside this ovule is there. Ovule become the seed, and inside the seed, what is that? Our embryo is there. Our small embryo is there. Why they are giving protection to this embryo? Because it is the one which is able to give birth to the new plant. That's why the embryo is giving so much protection well inside the ovule. Okay, ma? No, well inside the seed. Okay. So, up to this extent it has been reached. What has to be then, what has to occur? It has to be transported, right? The seed has to be dispersed to various places. Then only germination will occur and then only the plant will come. if we are stopping up to this extent, the lesson will not be finished. So it has to be transported. Who is transporting? By water it will be transported. In the case of coconut, it is having a hairy part. So what happens? Through the water, this coconut will be moved and it will be deposited in some other part of the lake, and from there the plant will be developed. Okay. Then by any other way, by wind. If the seed is so light-weighted seeds, it will be transported easily through wind. Okay. So this is to say dandelion. It is easy. Have you ever played that? Dandelion is that if you are seeing this flower will be moving. It is not flower kanna. Behind that you can see some seeds. The seeds will move along with the wind because it's so lightweighted, and it will deposit it in some place. From the new dandelion plant will grow. Okay, lightweighted seeds. Okay, or winged seeds will be there. Some seeds will be having wings. The winged seed also will move along with the wind. Some seeds will be having some spines over there. And if any animal or a bird is moving along with it, in the fur of these animals, it will be sticking and it will be depositing in some other places. So what happens? From there the plant will grow. Spiny seeds. There will be many other seeds which are having beautiful and many much more fleshy fruit over it. To say mango, guava and all. So what happens? The animals, include our human or birds, whoever is seeing that, they will eat it. Okay. In some cases, in the case of mango, the seed is so big. So what will we do? We will throw it away. From there, wherever it is falling down, from there the plant can be generated. Or if the guava seed is so small, right? If the birds are eating this, through their excreta, the seeds will be dispersed out. Well, so from there, this plant can be grown. By any of these ways, the seeds will be dispersed. Okay, when it is dispersed and when the condition is proper, what happens? The seed will germinate. What is this germination? From the seed, a small plant is coming out. Seedlings will be coming, and the plant, it will result in the formation of the plant. Okay. So there we can see the seed is having a coating. Seed coat. Inside it, a much more fleshy part is there. It is called cotyledon. And well inside it, embryo is there. This embryo will develop, and it is developing into the shoot called plumule, and it is developing a root. It is called radicle. And in that form, it will grow and it will develop into a new plant. Okay. Up to this extent, the reproduction in plant has been set. Okay. Now, I am winding the class. I will never say that because it's the question time. Can I ask you some questions now? Are you ready to answer these questions? Okay. The first question is, a flower having either male or female reproductive part. Such a flower is called dash flower. Flower having either male or female reproductive part, such a flower is called dash flower. Second question, fusion of male and female gamete is called dash. Fusion of male and female gamete is called what, ma? It's a second stage of sexual reproduction in plants, right? What is it? Third one, stamen contains dash and dash. Stamen contain dash and dash. I think all the questions are very easy for you to answer. We will see in the next class.